Welcome to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff, DiVeronica, and Steve Bradley. It was a special season in Section 5, Steve. The 50th anniversary for Section 5 girls basketball tournament. We have one of the champions from that tournament that also took it all the way to the top. Class AA state champions, Bishop Kearney Kings. Not a new venue for them, Hudson Valley Community College, but their first state title since 2013 in Class C. And Kevan Sheppard's team also became the first Class AA champion from the Rochester area since 2008, the end of the Shanice Johnson era, with a Rush Henrietta three-peat. So some pretty good newsmakers there.
Yeah, such a great story, Jeff. Bishop Kearney had, that class was Sanaya Wilson and Mariana Freeman for a long time. And Coach Sheppard had told us, he said, guys, we're not going anywhere. We've got a lot of good young talent coming up. And don't you know they showed it this year and brought home a state title. Kevan, congratulations. We're about a week out from the title. Has it all sunk in what this team has done yet?
We did sink in. It took a while. I was excited for a long time, but now I'm starting to understand what exactly they accomplished.
Well, only two seniors on the team, so you could always make it, well, maybe they were a year ahead of schedule. But one of them joins us here, Kaia Goode, and also on our specialty Skype hotline is sophomore guard Aniya Rowe, who was fantastic this season. But I'm going to start with the old lady here, Kaia. Kaia, you've been part of this program for so long, and how did it feel to finally raise the state championship trophy after some close calls in the past and some success in other sports too? But to get your hands on, that's the thing everybody plays for.
Honestly, it felt great. Going 2 years, I've been to that state floor, and we unfortunately didn't make it. But holding that in my hand, honestly, it just felt like a great feeling. And honestly, yeah, it felt great.
You had some games like the semifinal was an absolute destruction of Corning Painted Post by 50 points. Now you guys built a big lead. You girls built a big lead in the final. It ended up being a 6-point win over Baldwin, a team with some state history. But they came back at you, got it down to 6 points. What were the timeouts like? How did this? You guys hadn't been in a lot of close games. How did you keep your poise over there in the state championship, Aniya?
Wait, can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
How did you keep stop from not freaking out when they came back on you?
Coach he kept telling us to keep playing, not to be nervous and scared. He wanted us to keep fighting and work through everything.
Kevan, people are going to look at the scoring numbers. Kaia, 20 points a game. Amaya Jackson, 14. Aniya, 13. Caydence Hadley, 10. Carissa Good, 9. So, you got a lot of scoring. But if you watch your team play, the calling card was the defensive pressure that your team put on and forced opponents to make mistakes.
18 steals in the championship game.
You have 9 players on your roster. How do you generate that in practice to get that ready for games?
I mean, we actually use the season to perfect the defense. We really perfect the defense during games. They'll both tell you we don't work on it as much in practice just to press itself. We do a lot of drills and a lot of conditioning to be able to carry it out in games. But the majority of all of that is actually done on the court during games because it's hard to recreate that speed in those situations in practice with only having 9 people on a roster.
Caydence Hadley had 3 3-pointers, 15 points in the title game. That's the game she got in foul trouble, right, Coach? Late in that game. Okay, so I'm going to ask Kaia this one. She's got foul trouble, 4 fouls, and they're coming back on you. Did you all do anything to kind of try to protect her defensively, or was it just, hey, Caydence, be smart?
Well, one, we did want her to be smart, but 2, we did take the fouls if we needed to. We would make sure that the girls, they didn't get deep enough for her to get the foul call.
Okay, and Aniya had 20 points in the ball game, I believe. And Amaya Jackson, I saw a highlight of her. I mean, I saw Steve. She had like a gather and explode, like a one-hand gather and explode. I mean, it was like a high-level move, and she's just a freshman. So, Kevan, was that like something she did all year long, or did she come of age here in the last few weeks?
No, I mean she's been doing that a long time. They're a very, very individually skilled group of players. Their one-on-one situations are tough, and My job is to get them in those situations during the game so they can display that. But she definitely took advantage of the opportunity against Baldwin.
Aniya, I asked Coach about the defense, but one of the things I was most impressed about watching you play against Lancaster was your ability to get to the basket off of turnovers. How does this team buy into playing defense? Coach says a lot of the teaching's done in games. So where does that desire and hunger come from? Everybody loves to score points, but everybody doesn't love to get after it on defense. But this team did. Why and how does it work for you?
Well, if you play a really good defense, it creates you to get points. I mean, I'm hungry to get the ball, so I just want to attack everybody and draw fouls.
The history of this and tradition of this program is something that's pretty amazing. 12 consecutive, I think, Section 5 title games. How many championships? 7 or 8?
I think it's going to be 8 this year.
8? Yeah, 8. Pretty darn good. Kaia, we've talked about this before, but how motivating is it for the young players when you see them? Do they know what Kearney basketball is all about when they get there? Or is this something you got to teach them when they get on this roster?
They come in with the motivation. I just have to encourage that a little bit more because I have been there for the longest. But they listen to me and they follow under my wing.
We'll take a quick break, come back to part 2 with Bishop Kearney. As we do that, I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors that allows us to be here talking about Section 5 champions. It's Bath Fitter. You see the number on the screen right there, folks, 617-0007. They're one of the top grossing outfits in the country. The Rochester team here is fantastic. There's a reason for that, because they do great work. They can remake your bathroom in 1 day. It's amazing. It's unbelievable what they can do in 1 day. They can do it over time too if you have time to do it. But give them a call, check them out on the website, and make sure you tell them you heard about it right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. We'll take a break, come back, do part 2 with Bishop Kearney girls basketball state champions right here on Rock Sports Now.
Looking for a used truck? Can you find one out of 350? At BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com, you'll find one. Love SUVs? 800 are waiting for you to take one home at BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com. Add 350 pre-owned sedans, and you've got a total of 1,500 used vehicles only at BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com.
Bob Johnson's got you right. Bob Johnson.
While we celebrate 140 years of serving our community, the kind of delicious joy that lasts a lifetime, we look forward to serving you for 140 more. With hardworking, wholehearted, passionate people who will help shape new memories for generations to come.
When it comes to workers' comp, things can change quickly.
The only way to make sure your rights are protected is to have a trusted, committed attorney on your side.
An attorney who has devoted their career to helping injured workers.
Someone to fight for the money and medical benefits you deserve.
The only person on your side
is the attorney at your side.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
The best 3 things here at McQuaid are definitely the sports, the brotherhood, and the service to community. I think that's a really big, important thing that McQuaid stresses, which is part of creating a better and great man. You definitely feel a connection with your fellow students here. It's being all guy school. You're able to relate to each other on a personal level, and everyone's very welcoming here with open arms and willing to be your friend.
Local McDonald's operators care about our local schools, teams, and student athletes. That's why they support the return of high school athletics in the Rochester area and around the state. See you before or after the big game at McDonald's. Welcome back, Section 5. Game on!
In these challenging times, our dedicated team at American Custom continues to provide top-quality installations to every customer. With guidelines and restrictions changing daily, we apply attention to every detail. You can trust our team to make sure the job is done right.
Welcome back to the Collins and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff DiVeronica and Steve Bradley, formerly of the Democrat and Chronicle, and now our own individual selves. Steve,
Yeah,
here.
we're entrepreneurs now.
Entrepreneurs, yeah. Year 19 of our program, and happy to be joined by the first class AA state champion in girls basketball in Section 5 since 2008, when these ladies were really, really young. Right? They were even close to probably being born, I think. Let's welcome onto our specialties hotline the head coach of the Kings back on, Kevan Sheppard. Also, we have sophomore guard Aniya Rowe, senior guard Kaia Goode, and now joining us magically is 6'1" junior forward Caydence Hadley, who averaged 10 points, 7 boards, 2.1 blocks, and she can step out and shoot threes at that size. So, Caydence, welcome to the show on our specialties hotline. How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for magically appearing. And how does a 6'1" girl shoot threes? Did you have a growth spurt? Were you a guard when you were younger? Because I'm sure there's a lot of coaches that said, you're too big to shoot threes, get in the paint. Tell us about your emergence as a shooter.
Well, I was definitely not a guard. I was like a big, like when I was younger, I was a center, like that was it. But I mean, like as years went on, like my coach, like Coach Good, he just wanted me to start shooting more, and like we started working on that a lot. And that's just about it.
Well, and Jeff, there's a little surprise for Caydence too, right?
Yeah, she's our athlete of the week, Bob Johnson Auto Athlete of the Week. So congratulations on that, Caydence.
Thank you.
Coach, let me ask you, break down everyone on the screen here. Let's start with the old lady, Kaia. Tell us about their strengths and what they've brought to this team this year and what role they played, please.
Okay. Kaia was the leader, the primary ball handler, and Kaia's faster than everybody else. But the thing that people don't realize is how strong she actually is. So a lot of people come in thinking if we could take her away, then we got a good opportunity. But that proved to be pretty impossible. Like she was the one person that you couldn't focus on taking away for us because she was too determined. She was too determined, and at the same time, she was too skilled.
Were there any moments where she got in foul trouble or she wasn't in the game and someone else had to become that floor general for you?
No.
Good for you, Kaia.
She understood the assignment. She knew, number one, I have to be on the court.
Well, what they say, your best ability is your availability, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Not unlike some of the other, the Rosa Grahams, the Charisma Bryants, the girls I've seen, Mariana Freeman, they need to be on the floor for you. How about Aniya Rowe? Talk about this fantastic sophomore who averaged almost 13 points a game, 6 boards, and about 4 assists.
Aniya started coming into her own right at the beginning of the year, really. Once she understood that I usually have a mismatch, and I've been telling her from the beginning of the season, like, take advantage. You got to be more aggressive. And then her teammates start telling her, like, okay, you got to go. And it kind of just clicked. Like, there's nothing on the court she can't do. Like, Aniya is a point guard. That's the cool thing about this team is everybody on the team is a point guard except for Caydence. So there's not one person who can't bring the ball up and initiate the offense. But, of course, because we had Kaia as an option, everybody else was a second or third option when it came to be a primary ball handler. But when it came to it's time to get a bucket, it's time to score, we knew where to go.
And finally, Caydence, to step out, I bet you're not getting many shots blocked and you're shooting a three-pointer, but tell us about Caydence's emergence.
Well, Caydence's ability to stretch the floor kind of put us in a different position. For the last 6 years, we were a very post-dominant team.
Yeah.
Always having a couple of bigs down low. But Caydence allowed us to play 5 out, and that left the paint wide open. So her ability to stretch the floor, bring the other team's center and big out to the three-point line allowed for Kaia to get to the basket whenever she wanted to. Aniya, it just opened up everything for the other guards. So that made the scoring so much more lethal because there wasn't a person that you could focus on, and you couldn't just sit a big in the paint to play help defense. If you did that, Caydence was going to light you up from the outside.
So, Aniya, having the success and winning a state title as a sophomore, You have 2 seasons left. You've learned from Kaia, who's one of the best leaders that's been around in a long time. How do you take this forward as a sophomore and grow your game in the next 2 years?
So for the next 2 years, I wanna win it again, but I'm gonna keep working and working harder. For the new players that's coming, we're gonna just push them to be better. So I just want to win it. It feels good. So. Yeah.
There aren't many teams in Section 5 that have repeated. That Rush Henrietta team a while ago with the girl I consider the best player ever, Shanice Johnson, they three-peated the state champs. And Caydence, I don't know if you caught this, but Coach said the only one that can't bring the full one up the floor is Caydence. So I think that means he wants you to work on your handle. I could be wrong, right? Was that a little subtle little coaching thing you slid in there, Coach?
A little bit.
No, you guys are a fun team to watch, and they're young, Steve.
Yeah, they are. And Kaia, probably maybe the last word to you, having been around for 6 years, going out on top, how special is that for you, and what do you hope that the younger players take away from this season so your legacy might be in what the players after you carry on?
I mean, it's very special to have gone out on top, I guess. And I hope that my team, they just keep that family atmosphere that's been around for years and ever since that I've been on the team, and that they became like sisters to me. And I hope that they bring the new girls in and be as welcoming as we have been to them.
Kai is one of the players that seniors locally is going to be that will have played in the Ronald McDonald McDonald House Banquet All-Star game, and I saw her at the banquet. And Steve, it was really. Coach Sheppard was there too, but I covered Kaia's dad when he was in high school, right?
Yep,
James Reeves Jr. was there. I covered his dad when he was in high school. Miles Blackwood was there, covered his dad, Marcus. So the age of this guy, so you can't see the gray hair really here because of product, but a lot of gray hair and a lot of great basketball I've covered over the years. Coach, were there many former players at Hudson Valley? I know Mariana and Sanaya are college players, but were there many former players there being able to enjoy the moment with you?
Yeah, actually, Emanuela was there. Sheila Hawks was there. Megan Hake was there. Yeah, it was a couple.
Awesome. And I don't know who started it, but I just want to say it one time. Maybe you can tell me who started. BK, you know who started saying that? Who started saying that?
You know what? That started with the Sheila Hawks group.
Yeah.
That was, the 2013. The 2013,
When you got a good thing, you stick with it. So congratulations. I know you're going to stick with this group, Coach, even though you're traveling the globe all the time now. Congratulations, Kings. Happy to have you on here and feature you. And hopefully we'll be talking to you, the younger ladies here once again next year, all right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Look at all in unison. See the right in step. Coach Sheppard, good to see you again. Safe travels to you, my friend. Give our best to all those Section 5 alums that we know you see. For our producer, Joe Brott, for the Bishop Kearney Kings, the state champs, and for Steve Bradley, my name's Chef DiVeronica. Thanks for watching us right here on Rock Sports Now, the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show.